Data onboarding has been a time-consuming and manual process for too long. Between spreadsheet templates, writing custom scripts, and implementation services, getting data from a customer into your software takes a long time and costs a lot of money. It's a critical manual step in your customer's onboarding process, with no easy way to get it done. Until now. Flatfile's data onboarding platform automatically converts, validates, and maps all of your data into the specific format you need. In just a few clicks, customer data goes from messy and unorganized to validated and ready to use. With deployment options including no-code, you'll be set up in minutes. Need to collaborate with your customer? Don't email sensitive spreadsheets back and forth. Flatfile lets you invite your customer to a secure, real-time shared workspace. Now you can give your customers a seamless data onboarding experience and save hours doing it. Join the hundreds of businesses who use Flatfile to solve their data chaos and are focused on creating long-term value for their customers. Visit flatfile.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Product-Led Festival. We really hope you're enjoying the summit so far, because we've got even more insights heading your way. All sessions are designed to be interactive and give you the chance to engage with our panelists, so come ready to get involved with your questions and comments. For all things PLG, don't forget to check on the PLA memberships at productledalliance.com. Sit back and enjoy the next session. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Product-Led Festival. Thank you for tuning in. I'm excited to announce our next speakers for today, David Boskovic and Eric Kane from Flatfile. I'll hand over to you guys.
Hey everybody. But as Caitlin mentioned, my name is David Boskovic. I'm the CEO of Flatfile, and I'm here today with my co-founder, Eric.
Hey, y'all, excited to be here. In the last couple of years, we've had the opportunity to scale one of the fastest growing SaaS companies together, certainly the fastest growing that either of us has been a part of. And that's been driven by a team with phenomenal conviction, willing to pull out all the stops to solve a problem that nobody had before.
That conviction, man. But then this has been part of our DNA since day one. A few months ago, I was sharing our founding story with a reporter, and I was trying to get at this core philosophy that has driven a lot of my approach to Flatfile and business in general, and that's that dissatisfaction is at the root of all innovation. For me, the problem we're now solving at Flatfile has been like that since day one. Throughout my career, this problem has been a bit like a smoke alarm with a low battery. At every startup, every enterprise, every contract and advisor, every company I advised, this was a problem that every single time, just as things would begin to pick up momentum, customers would collide with this ugly problem of data onboarding. That smoke alarm, I remember at one of my first startups having to pause the entire product roadmap to build an import feature. And that was a gift that kept on giving for years. I remember at another company nearly losing the largest account we'd ever signed because it was too difficult to get their data from the hundreds of files they had into the product. I remember working for a company that made hundreds of thousands of dollars just to help other companies get their data into Salesforce. Finally, I remember an entire platform crash for hours because someone decided to upload too much data, and it took down access to thousands of offices around the world.
Yeah, that was something for both of us. I cannot tell you how defeated I felt. Like, is this really what world-class software should be like?
Yeah, I don't know why it took having to solve this problem dozens of times before I realized that the smoke alarm was probably saying something. There's a goddamn fire in the building. That was it for me. I sat down in front of my laptop and just started designing every customer story, every churned deal, every bad CSAT score. I was inspired, but even more so, I was irritated that it didn't yet exist. Something needed to exist. Before I knew it, over a long weekend, the seed of flat file was born out of pure frustration. Or, as this reporter decided to call it, it was rage designed. The shoe fit.
Yeah, so rage design, as we think about it, is an exercise in extreme customer empathy. That level of empathy drives a shared intuition that allows you as a product leader or your product team to make more impactful decisions. In fact, I would argue that the most important thing your product team can do internally is to build a collective frustration about the status quo, exactly like what you might see on the screen now. Everyone in our company gets up in arms every time they see this image. And it's because it is a frustrating and awful status quo of what we're trying to solve. The way we do this is, first of all, about recognizing that a lot of product is about priorities. And it's not that plans or data or precision aren't important, just that they're secondary to finding the real problem and evangelizing it. So first, we start by telling our customer stories. Everything on the roadmap at Flatfile starts with a customer problem and a customer outcome. In fact, our product team has a mandate to participate in or listen to one customer call per day. This includes current customers, prospects, upsell opportunities, whatever it might be in the business. Our product team needs to know what that customer story is and be able to represent that story across the entire business. Even that's not really enough, though. We actually live our customer stories. Our product team finds opportunities to own directly whole customer relationships, or at the very least customer interactions, whenever they possibly can. Just earlier this morning, I was working through some implementation decisions with one of our design partners. These customers and relationships are not ones that are owned by another part of our business. Even though I'm the co-founder and chief product officer of Flatfile, I am directly responsible for this customer successfully implementing Flatfile. And that helps me really live their story. Also, we really praise visceral reactions from our customers, not just when our product is on the mark, but also when it's off. Sometimes the most meaningful conversations are those with prospects who feel like our product won't solve what they need. I can't tell you the level of shared frustration I was able to build when we had to walk away from a conversation with a Fortune 500 CPG. They had $1 billion problem and we couldn't solve it at the time. That was incredibly frustrating, but also incredibly motivating, because what it told me was that we should never be satisfied with what we know about the problem, because there's always more ways to learn and discover what that problem is. And the collective frustration about the problem is really just the first piece, but it's absolutely critical. And the second is leveraging that into action, taking all that collective frustration and making it us versus the problem. I like to call it rampaging towards a solution. So action before planning has been a core part of Flatfile's culture from the very beginning. And this collective frustration that we're constantly building up in the business around the problem affords us a shared understanding of what like the actual problem is and the solution looks like. If we all have the same intent and share the same goal, then even if we're moving quickly, we're going to be accurate in the way that we address the problems in front of us. And I like to juxtapose this against precision as well, especially in a rapidly moving business. We're not trying to make small incremental decisions to tweak some small metric here or there. We should be focused on things that are step function level improvements. And that focus on accuracy and, again, I like to put it, rampage towards a solution allows us to focus on those step function level improvements while making sure that we're solving that real problem for the customer. Now, as a product leader, I can tell you that trying to consistently make step function level improvements is very difficult to plan. And I can also tell you that decisions are way more important than plans. The longest product spec we've ever had at Flatfile was about 3 pages long. Plans and templates and processes, they're all in place for a good reason. And it's to try and enforce that alignment. But if you're coming from an environment where everyone is aligned around solving this frustrating problem, then the plans aren't, necessary, at least to the level of detail you might typically see. Really, they should just be minimal and describe direction and outcomes. Hey, can we make sure we're all aiming towards the same target, and then go? We know everyone in the business who is participating in building out our solution is someone who deeply empathizes and is frustrated by the customer problem that we're solving for. And that put together, the collective frustration and an emphasis on action, has earned us a really unique advantage.
One of the most important pieces of advice I got really early in my career was this simple principle. The pace of iteration is the speed of time. The faster you iterate, the faster time moves. At a startup, time compression is one of the most difficult things to solve for culturally. Information is flowing so quickly that sometimes the best or even only decisions you can make are based on highly tuned instinct. One of the most powerful things that comes from building a culture of extreme customer empathy is the pace at which we get to see the team move, even in high ambiguity. This affects every area of the business. As you just heard from Eric, it drives our product strategy, but it also drives our growth strategy. We get our products and even sometimes just ideas in front of customers or the market quickly, and then we listen intently to what people are saying. Product market fit doesn't come easily if you're not paying acute attention to what people are saying. We market solutions to pain, not just features or widgets. It also drives our sales mindset. Sales is often an engine that runs on tracks, but at Flatfile, we've actually used our sales team to make some of the most impactful observations of the market. For the last half a year, every sales conversation has turned into a heavily documented customer research session. Every single story, from the company trying to figure out how to onboard data into a breakthrough cancer research software and trying to get that data in under a year, to the customer who decided to change their entire go-to-market model after learning what Flatfile would be able to do for their economics. The sales team took those stories and synthesized them and shared that information with the team, helping us build understanding, empathy, and most of all, sharing in our customers' frustrations with the status quo that they have to deal with. This has led to an intimate understanding across our entire company of our market, the problems we're solving, and ultimately where our product needs to go. And now our business is on fire, but in a very different way than we described earlier. I was on a panel just a couple weeks ago, and I got a little flack for saying that I would put any team member in front of an investor and let them pitch the company. But it's absolutely true. We didn't create a category in data onboarding as much as the category created us. And in return, we've named it and we've dedicated ourselves to being the true experts of this problem. And while this journey started with a lifetime of frustration and one long weekend of rage design, this was just the beginning for us. We now deploy this strategy across the entire company in ways that help us scale quickly. We hire people who can get just as angry about the status quo as we do. We find every opportunity to turn stories of customer pain into fueling outrage on our team. And we leverage that collective frustration and extreme customer empathy into rapid and instinct-based product iterations. The latest, actually, which we just launched this morning.
Yep, we did indeed, and promise we're not here just to show off our product. Hopefully we get a chance to share some lessons with you about how this came to be. But I do just want to say we're incredibly proud of the work the team has put into this, a lot of which was just really understanding the core customer problem. And today we've launched our new solution, Flat File Embeds. I won't complain too much if you switch the tab and go over to Product Hunt and throw us an upvote. But you could definitely check out a little bit more detail about Flat File, what we're building, and also sort of our, just in general, company philosophy if you go over there and check it out. But really, embeds here from Flat File is just another rapid iteration against that frustrating status quo that David was talking about. For us in data onboarding, that's, I like to call it sweat. It's the sweat of customers who are filling out spreadsheet templates, of engineers who are writing bespoke scripts to import data, or of consulting firms that are cutting corners to make a go live date happen. So for all of those things, that's just for Flat File. Think about what your frustrating status quo is. Tell us about it or ask us about it in questions, because ultimately for us, what drives our business here is our deep dissatisfaction with the existence of a problem that we really won't stop until no one ever has to sweat over it again. What is that problem for you? What is that thing that your product is solving? And really that describes the linchpin of our product strategy too. The best product we can create isn't something that you can use. It's instead something that leads to the right outcome. And in order to get there, we're just going to continue to rage.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming to our small talk on this approach that has really helped us accelerate the company. We appreciate you. And I know there's a number of questions now popping into chat, so we can jump straight to them. Awesome.
Hi guys, thanks so much for that. That's great. We've got a question from Raul here, which says, love how you view the sales team as a contributor to product development. How do you ensure clear comms and cross-functional collaboration across the organization?
Yeah, this is probably one of the things that was, when we figured it out, was the most impactful. If you think about good sales discovery, it's very similar to a customer research session. At some point, Eric and I were going through all of the discovery calls our sales team was doing. We realized that we could turn that into a traditional, actual journey map from those customers. We could learn about their personas, the problems that they were running into with their customers, the time spent at every step in the process. So we actually gave our sales team training on how to do journey map research with each customers and structure that discovery in a framework that could be shared with the product team and shared broadly across the organization. So for now for hundreds of Flat File customers, we have a detailed analysis of their status quo, showing sometimes hundreds of hours spent onboarding, or maybe it's thousands of customers spending tens of hours. But either way, we get to build this high resolution and then synthesize it and share it across the team using sort of a journey map, a traditional sort of product-based journey mapping framework.
Great, thank you. And we've got a question from Fee here who says, is there a particular type of organization that Flat File targets?
Yeah, Eric, do you want to take that?
My immediate visceral reaction is you, probably, because what we've experienced across our career is that pretty much every organization has this problem. In terms of focus, a lot of what we focus on is the SaaS space. They say SaaS is, SaaS and software in general is eating the world. data is what it breathes, and we just help your software take its first breath of data when it's coming in from a customer. So in that instance, it's usually going to be a SaaS business, but oftentimes could be a software-enabled services business. We work with hospitals, grocery stores, Fortune 500 insurance companies, and kind of everything in between. And part of the reason why we've been able to do that is by this sort of extreme empathy and focus on the problem. When you understand it that well, you can apply the solutions that you create in a lot of different contexts.
Nice, thank you. And we've also got a question from Alia, who has asked, how early / at what stage should an organization think about investing in data onboarding?
It's a great question. Flatfile actually, like one of our core philosophies is that this is one of the biggest drivers of breakout growth. So we actually have built a startup program for early stage companies. So Flatfile can be used for free, just so they can get it in their product. The reason why is we actually did an analysis of our entire customer base. We realized that after customers adopted Flatfile, they quickly saw breakthrough growth, sometimes driving, for some of our customers, even driving unicorn valuations a couple of years later. When you think about a product-led growth company, the customer needs to get an understanding of the value of your product as quickly as possible. Most SaaS is an empty box, and your customers are bringing their data to use that box. And Flatfile makes that seamless. Without Flatfile, they might have to spend like an entire day prepping a template, and then an entire day dealing with these annoying errors that are coming back from your product that maybe only an engineer can understand. And so allowing your customers to quickly bring their data in and quickly see the value of your product is something that we think is fundamental to product-led growth. So we think companies should start at day one, make sure it's easy for their customers to get their data in, and we make it easy.
Great. And we've got one more question here from Sheila, who says, how do you iterate quickly on your product when there are so many competing priorities with building a company?
Oh boy, that is a fun one. There's always sort of competing priorities. I think when you keep the voice of the customer in your head every single day as you're going through things, they actually help you set priorities for you. And we're not shy from adjusting priorities as we build our understanding about our customer base too. So even if we're sort of well on the way towards solving a particular problem or shipping a particular feature, I'll harken back to that slide from before. If we realize like, hey, that's not going to drive the right true outcome for our customer, then we're going to change it. We actually soft launched a version of a product last year that just did not resonate with our customers. And as a result, we said, hey, we're going to pull back on this and rethink our strategy and approach. Are we messaging this the wrong way? Are we, designing this the wrong way? And out of that came a much better, more scalable solution for all of our customers. Just because we weren't afraid to say like, hey, we made a mistake by not necessarily paying attention enough to our customers. And we're going to go back and fix it really rapidly and then put something else out there to get those customers' feedback and understand exactly what it is that we're solving for.
Great, thanks. And we've actually got one more question from Raul here, who has said, how do you ensure that new joiners to the company are bought into the vision on the empathy bus?
Yeah, I will say that we are working on this. This is an active challenge for Eric and I. But the thing that we've seen really work is the fact that everybody in the company can carry the flame. When this becomes core to the culture, it doesn't take long for new people joining the company to start hearing. And one of the most interesting things is I'll have a new employee be like, I heard from somebody that I should come and talk to you and hear about X or Y. And I think as founders, our job is to carry the torch more than anything else, to light that fire on the team and get everybody aligned and energized in the same direction. So Eric and I spend a lot of our time making sure that this customer stories are being told to the team. Every week during our all hands, we take time to stop and tell at least one impactful customer story or reiterate our vision. We also do a decent job of documenting this. So our vision and our strategy and our culture are things that people can discover and go read about, and we add to it over time. And we ensure that conversations are happening across the business broadly. Also, everybody, when you look around your team and you're the one sort of missing out on the details of something, we hire for people who are curious enough to go and dig. And so they might join and not necessarily know all the answers, but they start asking everywhere, and everybody on the team can answer those. And I think, it's pretty quick within, your onboarding experience at Flatfile, where people get to be able to tell the story and the vision of where we're going. So I think, to answer that question more practically, I think focusing on the culture and making sure that everybody in the team is able to tell that story helps democratize the ability within the team to build that empathy and tell those customer stories. It shouldn't just be the product leaders that can tell customer stories, or the sales people who can tell customer stories. It should be everybody in the company.
Yeah. Cool, thank you for that answer. And I think we've had one more question sneak in, which from David, who says, what's the best advice you can give for someone looking to get into a leadership product role at their company, head of product, for example?
It's a great question. And it's funny because I was just talking with someone on our team last week at another event about this. It's actually like not doing product. It is doing all the other things that product is gluing together in the business. It means going out and actually owning sales relationships and learning what it's like to tell the story of your product and your company and building a shared vision with customers. It means hopping into customer support and understanding what it's like to work with a customer who's experiencing something negatively or bad about your product, and how to make sure that you maintain that relationship effectively and use it as an opportunity to learn about what you can do better. It's about working in marketing and understanding how to position and message the things that you do. A big part of product is ultimately storytelling. You're trying to galvanize and excite and engage with your market. And then another big part of it too is just on the side of project management, whether that's in customer success or operations, like understanding how you take that excitement and translate it into an actionable, rapidly moving plan that has a clear outcome and results that you can measure and effectively show whether or not that decision has moved your business forward. So I guess I'd say like the best path forward in product isn't necessarily product. It's getting exposure and getting involved in all those other parts of the business, and because that's just going to make you a more effective product leader at the end of the day.
Thanks, Eric. Some good advice there, I think, and that's pretty much brought us up to time, actually. So thank you both, Eric and David, for your talk today. It was great. I think everyone really enjoyed it. And thank you to our attendees for tuning in. And we will hopefully see you at the next session, which is starting in about 15 minutes. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Thank you all. Bye.